I wanted first office.
Okay.
I want a HR manual. I had an appraisal document form.
Okay.
Yeah. And we had a welcome this one.
Welcome kit.
Yeah.
Because we are so much used to having
What,
those
five people
forms,
are- five people
leave
are
form,
coming.
appraisal forms.
Some of the stuff that I've written in there were becoming problems towards.
Okay, it was
Surprisingly, somebody
backfiring.
read it.
So some guys are coming and saying, "You've written it." I'm like,
Did I?
in this one, we don't have a HR document.
For PACI.
No, we don't.
Because anything you say, it could be as simple as, you have to buy milk. Put it on paper. That was his go-to line. Put it on paper.
If you are able to understand it, you will be able to write it.
Yes. If you're not able to write it, you haven't understood it.
Yeah, every day is a struggle. Try not to kill each other. Let's say customer is king. Like, why is he the king? Why am I not? I cannot just up and leave like this is not working because
you are partners in business as well,
and
right?
my
And
kids
you
need a
have.
father.
Revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, right? Cash is reality.
Oh, I think that's a punch dialogue.
Right,
I am this person who needs all forms. I have leave forms, I have appraisal forms, I have performance review forms, KPIs.
This is an overkill, right? Even today when I look at that appraisal form and self-assessment at that level, what are they going to self-assess?
Yes.
They're always going to put 5. How good
5
are
out
your
of 5.
presentation? 5.
5.
How's your technical skills? Great. 5. Right? So,
Okay. I am this person who needs all forms. I have leave forms, I have appraisal forms. And maybe like all three of us come from corporate backgrounds. You both are from the finance. I came in an engineering background. So probably we are so much trained to have like a system, structure, SOPs and all these things we have seen. And we feel like the moment we start, we need to have all this in place before you start an organization. Is that a good thing or bad thing according to both of you?
a lot of people who come from the corporate background will disagree to what I'm saying. I think it's not needed.
What about you? What do you think?
I think it is needed in the sense that for me, from my perspective, it gave me a lot more confidence in going ahead.
Because you had structures in place.
No, because it gave me like I'm a very visual person, so I needed to see something was in place to go ahead. But do you need it at every step? Now when I'm thinking back, maybe not.
Maybe you could have even started much earlier.
Yeah, instead of 6 months, maybe you could have started in 3 months.
Okay.
But then we kept like, no, we cannot miss a single step because that's what all those Monday morning meetings taught us.
You were like waiting for the perfection.
Yeah, exactly. But you don't need, sometimes you just, you have that gut feeling or this is the right time.
Yes.
Sometimes when it's the right time, you don't do it because we have 5 more documents that we need to make up, right? And then you lose out on it.
You're losing out on time
Yeah,
sometimes,
exactly.
right?
Sometimes you have to have that guts to just take the leap and start.
It's more about this. Is it the sales skills that you need to
Sales
trust on?
Sales cures on. Right?
Yeah. So, for example, I feel like I should have, let's take homepreneurs. Right?
Yes.
I feel like I should have joined homepreneurs the moment we decided to, I decided
But
to
you
become
were
a co-founder.
but you were still waiting that I
I'm
have
like,
to
no,
have
we
the product in a better version.
Exactly. I could have joined where, but
No,
then...
true. We did 3 months of testing.
See, so it's
And
more
why?
like
Because when the first round of the real data came, everything broke and we had to
rebuild it.
Yeah.
So maybe because it's a tech platform. Maybe in other cases probably
So
would have just gone
other
ahead.
cases actually because I've set up so like right out of
Your other business, right?
Yeah, and
Which
then
has
what happens is I went and wrote a nice HR document.
Okay, this is before starting.
I think again classic, right? So we said I wanted first office.
Okay.
First office.
Okay.
Spend
Big
some money.
office. All my
Not
team should
big,
sit.
but relatively
Decent sized.
a decent size office. And I was like, okay, people are coming in. I want a HR manual. I had an appraisal document form.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we are so much used to having
What,
those
5 people
forms,
are- 5
leave
people are
form,
coming.
appraisal forms.
Wait, 5 people are coming. Right? And we had a welcome this one.
Welcome kit.
Yeah. I'm gonna crack a joke after this. Okay. So we had a welcome kit, and recently, so I have not looked at that HR document. In between, I reviewed reviewed it because some of the stuff that I had written in there were becoming problems towards.
Surprisingly, somebody
backfiring.
read it.
Some guys are coming and saying, "You've written it." I'm like,
Did I?
and then, so in this one, we don't have a HR document.
For PACI.
No, we don't.
Because you learned that you don't probably need it
we
right
have a
to
nice single pager.
Okay.
Right? But other one, I think, is around 20, 25 pages or 30 pages. I don't remember.
I
It was
tried
like
reading it for PACI. I'm like, yeah, we don't need this.
You know, the biggest problem. So what happens is I wrote it, then I sent it to a HR professional in another big four, right? And they're like, this is not good enough. And then they send
They
me
made it even more
they send me a
complicated.
document of a firm which is a 5,000 crore turnover firm.
Okay. And they asked you to implement it on your...
And no, and I have used from there to write mine. That's I mean, for people who don't know crores, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's
millions.
It's in hundreds of millions,
Yes.
right? Essentially, and we've used it. This is an overkill, right? Even today, when I look at that appraisal form, it's a huge overkill.
Okay.
And self-assessment at that level. What are they going to self-assess?
Yes.
They're always going to put 5. How good
5
are
out
your
of 5.
presentation? 5.
5.
How's your technical skills? Great. 5. Right. So.
Okay. Now my team is going to kill me for this while they are editing this because I am this person who needs all forms. I have leave forms, I have appraisal forms, I have performance review forms, KPIs. But see, for me, like when I started off, I didn't really have, like I just went ahead, but I knew in the back of the mind I need to do it. So I was keeping aside time to slowly develop. But for me, I was failing when I didn't have them. Like there was a lot of instances where like situations happen and we didn't have a document to look back and take decision. Probably sometimes, like I might tell you, Gulnar, you're not performing well. But Gulnar doesn't know why I'm not performing well or which area I need
There's
to
no way
improve.
to measure it.
Yeah, so that is when we started the KPI
that's
document.
So I think maybe I'm giving a wrong this one. I think I'll just, because you said that.
Yes.
We have some sort of system or other. We have a utilization, how much time they're spending on work. And it's not that nothing is there, but
We made it simplified probably.
a lot more simplified. And why I don't like too much of structure at the beginning is the first set of guys, if you give them too much structure, they'll be stuck with it.
Yes.
You want them to do that email. You want them to call that, even if there are technical stuff, you want them to call the customer and ask, hey, are you interested in the product? So that's what I meant. You've got to keep a very high level document.
More, yes.
And
Which is a
then-
simple one, easy to follow probably.
Easy to follow.
Which something actually people read.
No, people read.
That's key.
Yeah. Because if the day somebody is coming into my organization as a new employee and I hand them a 30-page document, this is your employee policies, are we expecting them to read it probably?
No, you know what?
You would read.
You know what?
I'm a paranoid person, so probably I'll read. But the thing is,
Not everybody might
because when
read.
you've made a document like he did, you just try to make it as perfect in principle as possible, right?
Yes.
And you don't realize there's a lot of loopholes and things that could backfire in it.
Yes.
Or maybe things that doesn't work for you in the current moment, and this new
And
employee
you
sitting
still
and
have-
read like, oh, she's written this now.
So I can go and ask for it.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I
So-
probably do that.
So what I did is that I developed an internal HR system. I mean, like a place where they can go access documents and everything for this 5 people. And listen, now these platforms are easily available that you could at that
Yes.
point of time I'd made it.
Oh,
And
okay.
I was like, you know what? I'd made it out of SharePoint, there's Microsoft SharePoint,
Yes.
and then now companies do it. I
Yes.
had done it way before with just
This
5
was
employees.
like how many years back?
This was like 6-7
7,
years back.
8 years back.
7 years back where we had done this for what? So
Yeah, so there's another
Now
good
I think
point.
you have scaled up to 60 plus employees,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I'm sure these systems would have
these
helped
systems
you
are
in
all-
those scaling.
These
right?
systems are all great.
Yes.
Now they're all great. Essentially, even the HR policy is still an overkill.
but then again-
I think I'll have to reach like maybe 250 people to.
No, but the good thing about you making one good thing personally when you make all these documents is now a lot of these workshops and class courses come up. When you attend, you've already done it all.
Yeah,
So
you
everybody
feel
else
like, wow, I'm on the track.
yeah, you feel like an expert, like I've already. So that's what's happening to me now, because he made me make a lot of business plans and everything. So whenever I go to like a business coaching class,
Then you're like, I'm done it.
every
I've
day
done
I'm
it.
like, this I already know. And I'm the only person raising my hand, like, yes, I have done this. So that way, amazing.
Okay, you feel like I'm validated.
Yeah, exactly. That validation happens.
No, because why there's a tendency to write is what I have, what I feel
It's
is
a running joke in the family, because anything you say, it could be as simple as you have to buy milk, put it on paper. That even I think even his parents, they all make fun of, because that was his go-to line. Put it on paper.
Okay.
Whatever it is, put it on paper.
I have the same dialogue in my company. I tell my team, you have to keep it in writing. Put it in an email or WhatsApp. Put it in an email.
He's really
no, I'm not
good.
even WhatsApp. So I tell them it's a very simple this thing, right? If you are able to understand it, you will be able to write it.
Yes.
Because otherwise it goes like
If you're not able to write it, you haven't understood it.
Yeah.
or at least through that I will understand you understood.
Yeah.
That's also the thing,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Because it's a very simple thing. Otherwise, when you talk, there's a habit people have where they go like, you got it, right?
Yes,
That's
yes.
a very...
And the next person will automatically say, yeah, I got it.
You got it, right? No way. Huh?
You know what happened? Like one of the times, one of the team was going on a 2 weeks leave, right? And she did the handover, but the other person is thinking, like, she thinks that she has done the handover over a Zoom call. And when we are on the ground next 2-3 days, they're like, I don't know, this was not given to me. So this happens, but if there was a handover form, that is when we had the form again back in place. Okay, we need a handover form in the company. So I mean, for me, I am more of a systems and processes person, but I also hear your story of the smaller companies who just do it and then figure out later.
Yeah, but what happens in smaller companies when they finally scale up, it's
Yeah,
too
when
late
the
to figure out also, and that ends up, they end up having a lot of losses because of that.
Probably at that time they are like having to hire an external
And maybe
consultant
because
or somebody who
of
comes
the
in.
line he said, sales cures all. The thing is that they've made so much money and it's been working for so long that they sort of get into that mindset, we don't need it.
Yeah.
And sometimes with people,
And
if
they don't
understand-
realize
yeah.
why all the chaos is happening in the
Yeah,
company because of
they
it.
measure good performance success with the money that's coming in, right?
Yes.
So they feel like it used to work in 2010. Why is it not working in 2024?
No, so
Sometimes-
when we do, so one of the organizations that I was mentioning, great year, not so great year, and I remember, I knew it's not going to be such a great year. It's a very simple
Okay.
thing. You're doing the planning. You're saying 20-30% is going to grow.
Okay.
Are you able to map it to accounts? Or how is that? Or are you going to
Are
you going to say something like, for example, let's say in your case, you have 10 accounts.
Okay.
You're saying that I'm going to reach 14 accounts. You should be able to, one, say how you're going to keep those 10
Yes.
accounts. You're going to retain them.
Yes.
Secondly, so you say that my, net promoter score or customer score is very high. They all love me. Okay. And then you've got to say how this 4 is going to come. Are you going to reach out to this 4 yourself, or are you going to put like a additional salesperson in
Who
there?
will go and do the sales.
And so while I say no documents, I'm very data oriented.
Yes.
I look at everything with data.
Yes. It's
But,
all numbers.
Yeah. No. I look at everything with data. But what I'm just trying to say is that for the smaller bit, I think you've got to start with sales. That's
Sales
the
is
only
first.
for the.
Sell first and then build.
I think you've got to start with sales. And I've made this mistake so many times. And I keep making it. So you remember the training school?
Yes.
That's what we're starting with. We're starting with sales.
Yes.
And everything else we're figuring it out on the way.
So it's more of like you will first teach them sales, then you tell them, okay, everything else.
I think we're starting off with sales, and so the logic is, if you get the sale, you'll find the way to
Yes.
to get the product,
to
right?
deliver it.
To find you will
Somehow deliver it.
Otherwise, let's just say we are dealing with household goods, right?
Yes.
You will keep the household goods, and then you will realize that nobody wants these household goods. You want some other household goods. You get the sale, and then you know what it is that the customer has to.
Yes.
So there's essentially been a huge change in how we think about things.
Yes.
But very difficult still to get that right
Yeah,
balance.
I mean, it's a balance. Like if you look at the bigger companies, right, and they're launching in a new market, so their business plan might be like first 3 years or even first 5 years, we are not going to focus on profit. We will only focus on customer acquisition, right? So they have that, but they have the leverage because they have the cash. Right now, when it comes to companies like SMEs, it's like we take one step in sales, then I have to I have to hire, then I have to sell, I have to hire, it's
So, so this is a fantastic this one, right? So, like I one day come to you and say that you got to sell for some little bit higher price.
okay.
Then I come
One
and tell.
day, he says that every day.
Then I tell her, but it's okay. Let the customers come.
No, it's like it's like multiple personality disorder. In that
Yeah,
sense.
it is. I
He
agree.
comes, it's like you can sell for a bit more, and I'll be like, yeah, but then immediately after 5 minutes, yeah, but then let the customers come, right? I mean, we'll think about this later, and then I'll probably take a huge relief. I'm like, okay, you know what, it's fine.
Okay.
Again, 2 days later, like,
Where's your target?
no, you should have said. It's like it keeps going back and forth, and sometimes I feel like, does he have this multiple personality disorder? Like, what should I do? What should I? So it confuses the person. And for him, he's lucky that it's his life partner that's doing this, because I have no other way but to decode it.
Okay.
But what if it's an employee? They'll be like, you know what?
No, I don't talk like this to employees.
He takes it as a privilege. Not as a privilege, granted.
Yeah, it's like so. Employees will be like, this guy is confusing me. I mean,
Yeah.
and then they might leave.
So now I will come back to that side of couples in being in business. So me and my husband, like he works in a complete different side, so he doesn't even know what we're doing. So even then, if we just go out in a car, we are fighting just about the navigation. Probably like you didn't give me the right direction. So how are you surviving without killing each other inside a business?
I wish I had an answer for this, because every day is a struggle trying not to kill each other, because I don't know if you noticed, we're both completely different people.
Yeah, I mean, I
So-
think that's the case with most couples.
Yeah, but if I say, if I say something very simple, like let's say customer is king, like why is he the king? Why am I not? So it's a concept. And one good thing is that when you're working elsewhere, you are just trying to get A to Z done, and then
Yes.
you're leaving, right? You're still fighting with your husband, but now you're fighting about targets. You're
Yes.
fighting about
Numbers.
when you are finally sitting at the end of the day, you just want to watch Netflix and have food instead of talking about is the actor doing a good job. You're like, did we fix that bug? Is that customer happy? How many
Yes.
more customers are we getting this week? So it's
Is it your phone?
no.
That's mine. Sorry, you can put it on silent.
So now we'll probably fight about this.
Yeah. Why did you not turn off?
Exactly. It's like, but one good thing is now we're both working towards the same end goal.
Yes.
Like I cannot just up and leave, like this is not working, because
you are partners in business as well,
and
right?
my kids
you
need a
you
father.
have
So that is
that's as
the
simple as that.
yeah, that's a plus side. So he's only survived till now because I feel like my kids.
So what are the different roles you take care in the business?
So essentially, I take care of product
Okay.
and marketing.
And you are on the
Sales and
part of it,
operations.
sales and operations. So is it because it comes naturally to you, sales part, and yours is more of a product part? Is that how you decided to go ahead?
Yeah.
I think it's a very natural this thing. I'm really bad at operations. I've always been bad at operations. That also could be that I come from a consulting background, and then
You have always
I'm able
been-
so I'm able to set things up, move, maybe what you call as
Give that execution to somebody else.
execution. And even when we do execution, it's always been hand holding, right? So hand holding is always a temporary thing,
Yes.
essentially. So, and I enjoy more of the making bit, right? So this entire product was made through hand sketches.
Okay. So you are like
essentially-
personally involved in every step
No,
of
so
it.
essentially it's very simple. It's actually a nice,
Very personally involved.
very, it's very
So
simple
much
this thing,
so that
right?
Sometimes we feel like we just should hire a person just to get that third person perspective, because you stare at it something like a word, you keep saying the same word so many times, suddenly it doesn't sound right to you
Yes,
anymore.
yes.
It's called snow blindness, by the way.
It's more of you're too much close to it,
Yeah,
probably.
I've
How
heard
we
this
would-
term so much that now that is giving me a
How we would do it is that I would sketch it
Okay.
because
it
my
would be a
hand,
very bad
my
sketch.
handwriting is super bad. Then she would do like a more eligible copy of it,
So that the developer can understand what it
and
is.
that
He
would go,
understands also.
and that goes into the design to the design team.
Yes, developer
And
team.
that becomes that essentially, that's how this whole thing was built. But even then, you start looking at it, whatever you do, right? Like for example, we had an ARAP widget which we
Okay.
changed today. We just changed today.
Because
we
you
said-
didn't need it?
we just felt
It's
like you
something
said,
that-
it's there in the back of your head, right?
Yes.
You said it's back of your
Yes.
head. But you may not fully know what is the cash that came in this month.
Yes.
And which
Exactly
is the cash that
what is
went
that
in.
came in, yes.
That you may not know.
Yes.
But what to receive, what to get, you will know.
That-
but you don't
yes.
know how much came in this month and how much. So we felt that there's more value providing
When
that.
you see it as a number in a dashboard.
Yeah. So, and the ARAP is there from we have a what you call as a due to collect and a due to pay feature.
Okay.
So once you drill down into that, you can get it. So we
End
felt
of
that
the day, you need that cash.
you need to see
happening,
what
right?
due to collect, due to pay.
Yes.
You don't need to know it is an aging ARAP and all.
And more than P&L, I think we are more worried about cash as businesses.
Yeah, so
right?
because we start with all these high-end procedures and structures, but at the end of the day, we are the same person selling plate. We
Yes.
just want to see.
Yes,
How
I
much
need to
money is
have
there
enough
in the
money to
drawer,
pay
yeah.
my team, and I need enough to
Exactly,
take
yeah,
out, right?
yeah.
That
So-
is what everybody needs.
Exactly. Yes.
Now coming back to this cash part, I remember we had this discussion once about you run your business on cash.
Yeah.
Right. So what is that? Maybe you want to
No,
explain
so
what it
very
is more.
what do they say? I think they say that revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, right? And I would say cash is reality.
Oh,
Let's-
I think that's a punch dialogue.
Right? We could put it as revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, and cash is reality, right?
Yes.
Because there is no use of having a profit if it takes a lot of time, right? You need that cash, right? You
Yes.
need the cash to pay yourself and all of that. And also, let's say to run more, like now, Holi finished, right?
Yes.
Holi finished. We had a Holi celebration in office.
Okay, so
You're
you
not
need
gonna-
that money for
You're not
all
going to
this.
have the Holi celebration in office unless you had spare cash lying around.
Yes.
You cannot say that there's profit if you don't have spare cash lying around to get the cake, to get this thing, take them on an outing or whatever, right? So that's why I said cash is reality. That's why managing with cash.
And what's your
is-
tip on managing the
So
cash?
it's very, very simple. It's a very simple this thing, right? You've got to. Okay, because I haven't thought about this. So I would say, on a very depending on your industry, okay,
Yes.
you do example. Let's say you have a profit of, you have 100,000
Okay.
revenue.
Okay.
You've got 80,000 profit.
Okay.
Is that good enough?
It is only good enough if it has actually come as money into the account.
Yeah. Let's say even if it.
Yes.
So no, I'm going to say it's not good enough, right?
Yeah.
I'm not talking about you paid all expenses, paid
Yes.
yourself. It's still not good enough. I'll tell you why. Because only 70% will get collected in time.
Yes.
So then suddenly you're looking at, what do you say? Let's say you have 100,000, but you only have 56,000. You've got only 70,000 that's being collected,
Yes.
right? But your expenses are 80,000.
Yes.
So you're short suddenly.
Yes.
While you're thinking you're in profit, no, you are at short, right? So you need to understand what is that collectible, this one. So you got to, that's why I said you measure with cash, right?
Yes.
Because now maybe 20% is a little less, but 25% is a good net profit that everybody says it's
Yes.
good net profit, right?
Yes.
But when I do this math for you, suddenly you're 5,000 short.
Yes.
Aren't you?
Yes.
You got to look
so
at
you,
it.
So you have to aim higher. Is that
One,
what it
aim
is?
higher. If it is okay, if you're
Yes.
getting all advance payments,
Yeah.
quite happy.
So it
But
depends on the payment mechanisms you employ, probably.
yeah, for example, if you're in the construction industry, I mean, you
I know.
you and
There
I
is
know.
the payment terms is like
Payment
probably
terms
6
is-
months or
Yeah, so at that point
it
of
could even
time, you've
go
got to
high.
see that is this mechanics working?
Yes,
So that's
yes.
what I meant by managing by cash.
Yes, yes.
So you say, yeah, I'm a profitable company, but
do you have the cash?
do you have the cash flow coming in essentially to meet that? So you're only collecting 70%, whatever. So the rest is going to get delayed and all of
Delayed,
that. Certain industries have that, right?
Yes, yes.
Industrial industries, like anything to do with
Construction
industrial
or industry,
construction.
manufacturing, all of them have this.
The entire AEC, what you call as ACO, right?
Yes.
Your architectural engineering consulting, construction and operations.
Yes, all
of
it
them
has
suffer
this,
from that.
Yes. And the cash is, I think, the lifeline of all the businesses. If it doesn't come, then that could also be the reason a lot of them are shutting down as well, right? Like maybe they're profitable in the paper,
Yeah.
but they are not probably able to collect it.
I've got to write this down somewhere. Which one? The vanity and
Yeah,
It's
it's
stuck
quite
on
nice.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, this is
How
pretty
did
good.
it come out?
So every
No, no,
week.
so I think this is normal. People talk about, what do you say, this revenue and profit sanity, and I've heard it before.
Yes.
But these two is like addition.
So every other week he thinks he should write a book.
I think
Probably
it will
going
come.
into the book.
Now, before I close down, because we are almost up there, I just want to ask one last question on. We also discussed about scaling, right? Company scaling, and some companies fail when they are scaling.
So now I'm going to do consulting speak. Two sides to it,
Yes.
right? There's consulting speak, which talks about having the foundation strong enough, right?
Yes.
So what people misunderstand while you are a construction professional, right? As complex the building is, and as taller the building is, more work on the foundation.
Yes.
And every project, they underestimate the cost involved in the foundation work.
Yes.
My experience that everybody underestimates the cost. So this is one bit. On the scaling bit, what happens is that just because you have documentation, a lot of people confuse documentation for having structure, for having, oh, I've got some KPIs written,
Yeah.
right?
And I'm done, ready to scale.
ready to scale. I've seen this
Yes.
many times. So one is that bit, right? So that's why you fail. Second is also going after something that may not be there, right?
Okay.
Like I don't know how to explain it properly. Let's just say this market has 9-10 million people. Let's just look at 10 million people drink 10 liters of bottle, 10
Yes.
liters, right? So it's 100 liters.
It's
right?
a requirement, yes.
Requirement. The market is going to be X amount of players is always going to be there. You cannot say that I will get 80% of the market. I will produce 80. That
Because
means your
there's
production
still
is
competition.
There is bound to be competition. There's places that you will not reach, and you go ahead and you produce 80,000 liters, right?
Yes.
You wasted production. So that's what I was trying to say. So sometimes that growth, unless there may not be enough space to grow at that
Should we
point of
really
time.
scale? It's more like.
Yeah, sometimes people scale because
I think
capital is available, so they scale.
Yes.
So they
It's like a
capital
lot of
is-
startups, they get funding and okay, now I want to scale.
Yeah, so funding, one,
Yes.
because they scale. Secondly, it could also be, forget startups, it could also be retained earnings that you have. So
Yes.
you're like, I am going to build out a bigger factory.
Yes.
Right? And so all of that could also be the biggest risk, honestly, when you take the next jump, it happens.
So it's more like probably they haven't studied the market. If there's a requirement
it's
to
like
scale
that
in the
term
market.
We use no blindness. They've been just looking at how their products work for so long. They haven't thought of other
Going to the
people-
next level.
Yeah. So other people are probably, doing a much better job of scaling up, and they haven't realized it. So when they scale up is when they probably need all of the documents we first spoke about.
Yes.
Not when they started.
It's like I said, it's not just documentation. It's about like, is your sales engine good enough?
Good enough.
We were just talking today. We've got our certain targets in. We're going well, but actually we've got a very high lead conversion.
So it's a good conversion ratio. you're
It's very
talking about.
high, but now
Okay.
there's a problem there, right?
It's not the standard in the market. So after
No,
some
no,
time
it's
it
not
might
that.
come
It's
down.
not even that. That's
Yeah.
a separate this one. To achieve that, what we need, we don't have enough leads to have that targets that we have towards the end of the year.
Okay.
We are not having enough leads. We've got fantastic lead conversion.
Okay. The
Actually,
conversion rate is good, but the number of
That's-
leads are less.
Generation is the
That's what I was talking today. I think we're going wrong. We're hitting the targets.
Yes.
Okay, right now, obviously, because we've just launched right now, the targets are not crazy. We're hitting them, and we're also on the.
He thinks the targets are not crazy.
I mean,
So who sets the targets?
me and my Excel sheets.
Yeah. And
Okay, and you have to meet the target.
I have to meet the targets. Yes.
It's a very we're walking back from sustainability, right? Sustainability it's not only about this green, right?
Yes.
Sustainability
Sustainable business. as a-
business, right?
yes.
Sustainable business. So people ask us, are you raising capital? I say no.
Okay.
So they say, why? Why you're not raising capital? I said, two things. Is this the kind of business that requires capital? Is the first question. Because with capital comes
Pressure to scale.
yeah, pressure to scale. And is that there? So would you scale unhealthily, right? At this point, because we are bootstrapped, be careful, because every money that goes, I get a message into my, this much has gone into Facebook ads, and then
Yes.
and they're like, oh my God.
Okay, and
And
did we
that's
get the
when
leads
target
enough?
also increases. Whenever he sees an expense.
Every time there's a bill from
payment,
Facebook ads, like, okay, what's the target?
Yeah, no, it's like, should we make the target? Like, should we just increase the target? Every time he sees a payment gone, he thinks of increasing the target.
So, no, payments do come, right? It's like, for example, you join a new association, you're like, okay, right? And there's so many associations and
Yes, a
stuff
lot
right
of communities now.
And like every day now, there's like today I saw-
Networking and
it's become the so that's we've got to see
That's
what
also
is.
something that probably the businesses that, like you mentioned, this guy who sells plane is not part of
yes,
networking
and
community.
and customer just walks into his store.
Yeah, and whereas we who's
I'm jealous of these guys. I swear, I was talking to a cousin of mine who runs businesses like this, and I said,
Retail units, smaller
No,
retail units.
I told him I'm actually jealous of you. I'm not jealous of the others. I said, you can, that's your this thing.
They don't need that probably
There's
digital
no marketing strategy.
and-
There is no. We're redoing a website right now. Now don't open it's broken, right? So
Okay.
we are
because the strategy didn't work.
because we're thinking, are they going to get confused? This is the fourth iteration.
So
So
I think
first
is it more of us thinking a lot?
100%.
Overthinking,
100%.
yes.
So today I had the marketing.
Because the customer is not even probably looking at your website.
No, the overthinking is making us spend money also, because first we had a website which was very like, we need to have information,
Yes.
right? People should know what we are.
Yeah.
And then we realized, no, we are in Dubai, we need to make it really cool looking. And then we went behind the design.
Yes.
Now again we are like, but it's not giving enough information, because like
No,
it looks nice.
we're reading data too much also. That could
Yes.
be so.
Yeah,
Like I was looking at the number of people who've come to my pricing page and bounced off.
Okay.
So I'm like,
Is
this
the
because
price a
they're-
problem?
Is it a
or-
pricing problem? Is it because they're not understanding? So we've gone ahead, and sometimes it can also not be. So today morning is when I have every weekly, I have the marketing,
Yes,
the
the
marketing
meeting.
mega meet, right?
Yes.
Where we sit and discuss every single this. And I remember telling them, I think the message I sent in the Slack group is, let's not change everything just because conversions are not what we expect. Right? So we don't have sometimes enough data. Did they understand? Did they not understand? And what the problem is, when you're asking people the question also, you're asking them, hey, did you feel this way? And then you've already put a thought into their head.
And then they're not able to independently think.
Then they wouldn't be, right? So what happens is a
that's
similar...
what happens with the forms you mentioned, surveys. Sometimes we give options.
So they are limited. They are limiting
Yeah.
their thoughts to it.
And they're already thinking, oh, maybe it is because of that. And that's where it goes back to the point, you have to talk. Without having that conversation, that truth is never coming out. Because-
I am also saying, more than talking, you got to observe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I think not even
It's
talking,
more on their behaviors,
Yeah.
probably,
it's
right?
on behaviors, right? So, for example, you see somebody's requested you to do something. Now that's a behavior.
Yes.
that they have bought, right? Somebody's asked us to do an X amount of thing. Now, that is a behavior. Another behavior that we've noticed, I'll be honest, is we have an in-app application messaging platform. People are not using it enough.
Okay.
So now that's a behavior. So how do we solve that behavior? And what benefit can we get from solving that behavior? So that's talking. What are you going to call and ask them?
Yes.
You're going to ask them, hi, I've seen you're not using this. Why is that? And they'll be like, yeah, I've not had time.
Then you
sure, I'll
understand
use
that
it.
it's not required really for something.
It's
like
not
that.
required.
Yeah.
So one is that I could have built
Yes.
something which was not needed.
Yes.
That essentially could have been. But it's a nice place for them to also ask us doubts.
Yes.
But they're not using that to ask doubts. So now we're looking at, okay,
Yeah.
it's essentially you had a doubt, right?
Yes.
In terms of, let's say you don't know what a pro forma invoice is.
Yes.
And the client said, send me a pro forma invoice. It happens.
Yes.
And you don't know what a pro forma invoice is.
Yes.
Right? You could have easily asked us through that.
Yes.
But you're not.
You
right?
didn't know that there's a feature that I can ask
It's
you
a
on it.
feature, or it's just a difficult thing for you to do to
Yes.
ask there.
Okay.
So that's what we need to solve. We need to be where the customer is, if that makes sense.
Got it.
And we are still we are figuring it out.
Okay. I think now let's come to the end of the session. We are almost done. So thank you so much for being on our show, and I'm sure we have got a lot of nice punch dialogue. Do you want to add anything as a last one-liner, like as a one-line advice to SMEs, one-line advice to SMEs from both of you? Who wants to go first?
I'm very bad at one-liners. So I have no one-liners. I just have to add, just to let people know who's going to start a business, who's currently doing business, that just whenever you hear something or you feel like the next person is doing something, don't jump at it. You also have to just know your own business and
See if it's required.
yeah, like listen to yourself and then decide if you want to do the same for your business. You have to first understand and love what you're doing, and only then that outcomes will come.
Thank you.
Something that I've been learning from him, but yeah.
And what about you, the last one-liner?
I don't know whether you can cut it later if you want. Essentially, so what I am saying is that for the small and this is going to be a sales pitch, right? For the small and the micro businesses, come and join us, because when you join another accountant, they're essentially working off the existing set of tools. They're not building out for you. When you come, you're joining a mission-driven company that is looking at essentially solving for some of those pain points that you have. Not that we've solved everything, but that's what we're looking at, right? You join somebody else, they're working off the existing tools. So like I said, this is a sales pitch. You can feel free to take it off. So, but that's something that I want to tell them, right? They're essentially trying to do. They're on a mission to take the fear out of finances from small businesses. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks to the friendly neighborhood accountants.
Yeah.
Thanks to all of you listeners, and you can always subscribe to our channel, and if you have any doubts about PACI, you can always reach out to them. We will be putting both of their contact details and the details of PACI also in the comments. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dan, I wish we had more time. He's already showing like